2, 3.
Surprise!
Hi, Miss Alderson.
Hi.
I'm Sherry Schwans, and this is Alexa Delcit.
Hi.
I'm Alexis.
Nice to meet
Do you happen to have a student named Clara?
I do.
Clara, would you come here, please? Clara, would you tell Miss Alderson what you did? Clara wrote To Read to Achieve, which is a partnership with KCTV5 in Kansas City, and Clara wrote, "She is sweet and kind. Miss Alderson is always doing her best to do her job. She loves to help us. She recognizes kids are having trouble and need help, and slows down or makes groups so we can help each other. Miss Alderson teaches us life lessons. She points out our mistakes and then helps us figure it out. Miss Alderson always makes sure we are responsible, respectful, productive, and safe." So, on behalf of KDA and KCTV5, Clara's going to fill out a check for $1,000 for you personally. Wherever here or in front, where would you like to do that at?
Just put it on the countertop here.
Mrs. Alderson. $1,000. Oh, wait a second. And then, what's it for?
The reason is being awesome.
Hey, just put it down. Oh my goodness. Yeah, just you two. Hold on one second. Oh my gosh, I know, right? I'll turn it over to Alexa.
I would love to get a picture with Miss Alderson standing there and you guys to the side, or maybe behind the kiddos, or actually, why don't I put this down? You stand there, and then I just want to give a whole picture of this whole awesome class. Wow, this is a nice group of kids. And then on the count of 3, I'll give you guys biggest smiles, okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Wave your hands, okay, guys? Okay. Then we have one more thing. Well, we have a few more things. The first thing we would love for you to do is, I'm going to hold that microphone towards you guys. And then Dave is going to tell you what you need to do while looking into Rob's camera. This is the part where you guys are all going to be on the news tonight. You want to make sure Miss Alderson is in this too, so should she stand, how do we make sure we get them all? Should she stand towards the back holding her? How do we get this one?
See what the kid is doing.
We'll give you a real size check that you can actually put in your purse. So
What we want you guys to do, Mr. Rhodes is going to prompt you, and when he says 3, 2, 1 or 1, 2, 3, you're going to say, "Thank you, KNEA and KCTV5. I know that's a long one. Thank you, KNEA and KCTV5. Want to do a couple practices?
right in the center, or you can just sit down there and wait. Surrounded by your kiddos.
All right, so let's do a couple practices. So Mr. Rhodes is going to lead you. When he's ready, he'll give you the prompt, and you're going right into the camera.
All right, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Not bad.
Let's do one more time, and then you can cheer a little bit after you finish saying that. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice job, everybody. Thank you very much.
So we're going to do 2 interviews now, and this is the part where you can see behind the scenes. First, I want to interview Clara, and then I want to interview Miss Alderson. So where's Clara? Come on over here. So this is the part you don't see when you're on TV, is the behind the scenes stuff. Do you want the kiddos in the background? Yeah, okay. Me this way?
Come over here. There you go. Perfect.
So the first thing I do is I always ask, no matter who they are, even if their first name is Jenny, I say say and spell your first and last name, because someone might always spell their name different. Like I interviewed a Jenny who spelled her name with a G, G-E-N-N-I. Never would have guessed that, so that's the names we always do. So I'm gonna say Clara, say and spell your first and last name.
Clara, C-L-A-R-A, Humphrey, H-U-M-P-H-R-E.
And what grade are you in?
4th.
At what school?
Sunflower Elementary.
Now I know we're at Sunflower Elementary, but you never know if the person editing this knows that, or the person putting in the graphics. That's why I always ask questions that you might think are obvious questions, but it's always good to have it on tape. So you're the reason that your teacher is winning this big award. Tell us why you decided to nominate her.
Because she's my favorite teacher I've ever had.
What makes her so awesome?
Well, she always helps everybody, even if they're having trouble.
It's a pretty good reason. So pretty special. Thank you, Clara. That's it. I know that's Let's see, so now we're going to do a different angle.
Okay, you're gonna have to hold on.
They won't be able to put that in a lot closer than it is. I know it's your say and spell. So then so this isn't live, this is taped. So then when we go back to the station, there's someone who will pick, they're called sound bites. Like we'll pick the best sentence from Mrs. Alderson and the best sentence from Clara, and then we put them together and put it in a story with all you guys shouting, thank you, and waving your hands, and then you're all on TV. So when you see it tonight, it'll look a lot different than it feels right now. Say and spell your first and last name for me.
Laura Alderson, L-A-U-R-A,
What grade do you teach?
Fourth.
Fourth grade. How long have you been a teacher?
This is my 17th year.
17th year teaching. And then another thing we ask people to do is just look at me, not into the camera. But it's really hard to not look into the camera because it's like this big thing right here and it's really weird looking. We always say, look into my eyes, pretend this isn't happening. What inspires you to wake up every morning and come teach children?
The students themselves. I love my kids, and I just want to help them be the best little people that they can be.
What inspired you to be a teacher?
Actually, my mom is a teacher, my sister's a teacher, it's kind of in the family, and when I took a Spanish class in my senior year in high school, we had to go teach in an elementary school and teach a lesson, and I didn't want to do it. But when I did it, I realized how much I loved it. So.
We always talk about the importance of reading. This is the Read to Achieve Award. As a teacher, why is reading so crucial to every child?
Because it's crucial just for life. You have to know how to read to be able to do anything in life. So.
And we hope that you spend the money on something fun and you treat yourself. Do you have anything that you've been waiting to buy or that you're hoping to afford?
Bills. I can think of some bills, but I am just completely blown away and shocked, so I haven't even thought about it really.
When you walked in the door, what was your first thought when you saw all these kids and then you saw a camera here?
I thought it was for someone else.
Really?
Yes.
It never dawned on you that it was for you?
No.
Because you're awesome?
No.
What would you want to say to people watching who might be considering becoming teachers?
I can't even think right now.
It's okay. What do you want to say to the person who nominated you?
Oh, I love her so much, and I'm just blown away that she chose me and chose to do this for me. That was amazing.
Well, you're pretty amazing too. So thank you for being a teacher and being incredible.
Today with us, we also have one of our staff people. I am a teacher, music teacher. That's why you're in an awesome room. And with me today is a person that works with the teachers in this area to help them in every way to become better teachers, Mr. Belt. And he is presenting Sunflower Elementary with 2 boxes of books. History person, look what he pulls out first. Should have been a musical. So, he's going to give 2 boxes of books to your school.
Here's one.
Wow, thank you.
That's my favorite one.
So what are the books about? What are those?
They
all different?
Yes. It's like a variety.
Wow.
A variety from kindergarten through 5th grade collection of books.
Nice. All right. This is normally the part of the celebration where I would read to littler kids, I could read to you guys, or I could answer questions if you have questions about broadcasting or getting into news or becoming a reporter, anything of that nature. Do you have any preferences? Would you like me to read to you, or do you guys want to ask questions? I don't want to read half and half. How about I take 5 questions and then I can read? Does that work for you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. Who should girl with the long brown hair?
Who is always there at broadcasting?
Who's always there? Well, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on Christmas, Easter, all the holidays. So at any given time, there are always a handful of people For example, I wake up at 1:45 in the morning. I'm at work by 3:15 in the morning. However, when I get in, one of my producers has been there since 10 o'clock the night before and is working until 6 in the morning. Some producers get in at midnight, some get in at 2. So 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, there's always at least 4 or 5 people in the newsroom. So someone's always there. Not always the same person, but someone's always there. First little boy in the neon hood, then you girl with the glasses. Sorry, I don't know your names. I'm just calling out identifiers.
At the newsroom, when people are reporting, like, does the editor have to put like the map up there, or do you guys have like a map when there's storms?
Good question. It's actually pretty complicated. Sometimes the graphics department will build a map. Other times we can type it into Google Maps and then have it pop out of the screen. Sometimes it's an editor, sometimes it's a director. Just depends on the kind of map we're using at any given time. Okay, tie-dye.
How many times have you traveled?
How many times have I traveled? Gosh, quite a few. I was at a job, now I don't travel as much because I anchor the news, so I'm not traveling and going out of town. However, I lived in Albuquerque for 2 years, and every week we were overnight somewhere. We were either flying somewhere, driving somewhere. They had a helicopter that would take us places. At one point there was a little airplane. So it was all the time. We were traveling all over the state, sometimes even out of state for different stories. Depends on what you're doing and where you're working. When I worked in Portland, Oregon, we also traveled a lot. Pink headband.
Like, where is your building at? Like, where do you pass?
Our building's on Shawnee Mission Parkway. So it's in Fairway, Kansas. Just a building, nondescript, just a regular building with a lot of big satellites. Back, neon green.
Like when you go out places, like to the store, do some people recognize you and say hi?
Yes, yes, that's fun. It's like being in school when you see your friends, except it's weird because you don't know the other person who's saying hi to you. But it's always super fun and it's friendly. The grocery store, it happens a lot. And then there are some people I see all the time because we're on the same shopping schedule, but we still don't know each other. So we say hi. Question.
How long have you been doing this?
I have been working in news for almost 20 years. And I did not start right out of college. I didn't major in broadcasting. I majored in English, which is something I want to talk to you guys about, because my reading is so incredibly important. I went to college, I took all literature classes, majored in English and creative writing, and I still wound up in a field that you wouldn't think would be, I mean, it's a verbal field, but I didn't major in broadcasting. You don't have to major in broadcasting to do it. But I would say go to college and do something you love, and then you can figure out what to do with that after. Sweatshirt, glasses.
Is having this job fun?
Yes, very fun, because it's always different.
What do you have to do to get the job?
So the question is, what did I have to do to get the job?
Yeah.
It's different for every person. I moved a lot. I started out in radio, and then within, I would say, 8 years, I've moved 8 times. So I started out in Chicago, moved to Florida, went back to Chicago, then went to Lake Charles, Louisiana, then to Champaign, Illinois, then to Albuquerque, New Mexico, then to Portland, Oregon, then to Kansas City. I think I missed a stop in between there. But you move around a lot at first, and you get to experience life in all different parts of the country. Then you find the city that you love and you say, I hope I stay here. Do I like what? Yes, I like the people I work with, which is really important because you sit next to them all the time. I sit next to my co-anchor Joe, probably 12 hours a day. So So you better like the person you're sitting next to, because you don't sit next to people in your family for 12 hours a day, right?
No.
Like, I don't see my husband for 12 hours a day. So it's a good thing I like Joe and Lisa and Gina because we're together a lot. Good question. How many states have I been to for work or just in general? I think I've been to almost all of them. Just driving, just having lived in all different parts of the country, and then driving home and back and forth and for jobs and everything. I haven't been to New Hampshire. Question.
When the news is on 4 to 5, when we're on it, is it going to repeat or is it just going to be one time?
One time. Good question. It'll be on one time tonight between 4 and 5, but I don't know the exact time. Then tomorrow morning will be on a couple times between 4:30 a.m. and 7 a.m. And then what I will try to do is go back and pull the video off the system and then put it on Facebook or on Twitter, or at least put a still pic of us and your teacher so it can be everywhere. Yes. How do I know where I have to go? Do you mean with a news story? Well, there's this big desk in the newsroom, and they have all these scanners, they're called. They look like old tiny radios. Is that a good way to describe it? You know, like your grandma or grandpa or mom and dad's old radio, not the iPod, but the old radio? Like, I'm dating myself, I have an old tiny radio. But anyway, there are a bunch of those on the desk, and each radio is programmed in different frequencies of different police departments and ambulances and this and that. And then they've got 10 computer screens and people emailing and calling. It's total chaos, managed chaos. Someone answers the phone so they get tips and calls and scanners, and then they figure out what's happening at that moment and then send out the news. Does that make sense? Yeah. Poke it out. Right, I love it here. You mean my favorite place ever? Kansas City. Because I have a little boy who's in 4th grade, and he loves living here, and he loves the Royals, love the Midwest. I'm from Chicago, so we came back home. I was like, it just felt like I was home. So this is my favorite place, hands down. Yes, much more than Florida. Much more. It's too far from home, and it's too hot, and you know, home is, you don't think home is important until you leave home. Then when you're away from home for a long time, you realize how important it is. But you'll figure that out when you're like 25. You'll be like, I kind of miss home. You won't think you miss home, but you will miss home. Good questions. So the question is, how do we know what to say on the news? Well, sometimes when you're doing a live report, you're just standing like I am and talking into the camera. Like I'd be talking into the camera, saying what I'm at the scene and holding the microphone. Other times, when you see the news anchors at the desk, it's scripted, and it's in something called a teleprompter. The teleprompter looks like a TV screen, and so what the anchors are looking into a camera, and so it looks like they're looking at you, but on it are the words, and you can't see the words over the air. So they're looking at the screen with the words, and it looks like they're looking at you, and the trick is to read without look like you're reading. So you're reading and you're looking at people and giving viewers eye contact, but you can't have your eyes moving like you're reading.
So you would need to be a really good fluent reader.
Definitely. And you have to be good at, I don't know if the teacher has gotten into skimming paragraphs yet, which is something you might learn later on. But you have to be good at getting the gist of a sentence and not losing your train of thought when you look down or look up or look away. And then while this is all happening, I have a little earpiece in my ear. And in my ear, there's someone in the control booth talking to me the whole time. So there'll be a producer talking to me, giving me directions while I'm reading something else. And I'm tweeting and Facebooking because we have to for work. It's not just for fun. So you're not only you're reading and you're on TV, there's someone talking in your ear and you're looking down at your notes. So in order to do that, it's really important that you're a good, solid reader. And so that you're not just reading, you're also understanding what you're reading. Because sometimes the teleprompter breaks. And then you just have to, you're not reading anything anymore. Then it's just up to you to finish what you were saying. And if you simply don't understand what you're saying or you're not confident with the material or up on the current events, you can't finish what you're saying. And then everyone starts really screaming. It's all right.
ask my general manager. I will tell you, I got ink on one of the chairs once, and I had to go upstairs and tell the GM, I'm so sorry, I got ink on the chair. But I guess the chair was pretty expensive. He forgave me, but it's expensive stuff. It's more expensive than furniture in any of our houses. I know that. And the chairs are white. I thought that was unfair, because I had a pen with white furniture that was running around. Green.
Have you ever interviewed one of the Royals players?
Have I personally? I don't think I have, but plenty of people have at the station. I don't think I interviewed Mike Sweeney a bunch of times. He's a former Royals player. He's awesome.
Yeah.
Nicest guy.
I have one.
Yeah, sure, sometimes. But it's define famous. I mean, you can be famous for all different reasons, and famous doesn't really mean cool. Sometimes you're famous for the wrong reasons. So we interview a lot of different special people. Sometimes they're musicians, sometimes they're scientists, or they could be celebrities, all different kinds of people. And it's interesting to see what they're like in real life. Sometimes the most impressive, interesting people are people that aren't famous at all, but they're the coolest people you'll ever meet.
Has anyone at your station ever interviewed the president?
The President of the President Trump? I do not think anyone's interviewed the president yet. But we did have people at my old station in Portland who have interviewed President Obama. We're gonna do only one question per kiddo, because I wanna make sure I get to everyone. Camouflage? Yeah.
Do you know who Dwayne Johnson is?
What's that?
Do you know who Dwayne Johnson is?
The Rock?
Yeah.
Well, I know of him. I've never met him.
Dang it.
Yellow.
If you could go to any state in Kansas, any United States, which one would you go to?
Any state in the US? Well, I think Vermont, because I haven't been there yet. I just think it'd be fun. Or I haven't been to New Hampshire either, so okay, Northeast.
You said 25 years old. Who doesn't live in
25 is too old to realize you miss home. It takes a while. I know 25 sounds really old to you guys. It's not that old. I know 25. I remember thinking 20 sounded ancient when I was 11. Someone I knew turned 20, and I remember thinking, oh my gosh, all the fun is over at 20. What is that? Now I look back at 20, and it seems like 20 is a baby. 25 is not that old.
You wanna do one more?
Sure, I can keep going.
Just do one
I don't have
more.
to read. I can do until you guys cut me off. I'm good.
No.
I'll stay here all.
Tell them about all the other jobs in the station besides news.
Do you guys want to know about all the different jobs in the station? There are so many different jobs. So you can be a reporter, you can be an anchor. Those are the ones that you just happen to see. But behind the scenes, there is a whole team of people with all different really cool jobs. Rob is a photojournalist, and that's an art in itself. Taking pictures, filming the shots, he edits, he shoots, he finds just the right moment, and there is so much involved in that. You can be an editor, and you put together all the packages. Rob edits as well. You can be a director, who's the one in the control booth, who's in charge of punching up shots and putting the sound effects in and the swooshes and everything, and it looks like Starship Enterprise is in back, and they're managing everything. You can be in charge of graphics, where you're designing all these really cool things that you see on TV. You can be a writer, you can be a producer. There are so many different jobs that you can do in the newsroom, and they're all interesting in their own way. And they all require some form of reading or math or science, real basic things that you're learning. Meteorology, if you're a meteorologist, that's a science. They do so many cool things in the Weather Center. But reading is so fundamental. Do you guys raise your hand if you're in the middle of a book right now? Raise your hand if you finished a book you love or if you have a book you love at home. No books? You guys, reading is so important. It will introduce you to different cultures, different lives. If you can't travel, you can read and your mind will travel to that place. It will tell you all about different people, places, things, whether it's history, science fiction, fiction, autobiography.
worst day, or going through the worst thing, and you read, and it just takes your brain away from that moment. And it's something you have to be good at. Really, I encourage you to enjoy it. Do you guys read the newspaper?
Yes, sometimes.
Newspaper would be good to read. You know, most newspapers are written at probably like 4th grade level. It's good. You guys could read that. Easy. I know grown-ups read it, but it's not too complicated for you guys. You guys are smart. You might not understand the complexities of some of the issues, but just ask your parents. I would encourage you to read the newspaper. Just start reading what you like in there. See if anything catches your eye. You're doing a class paper? Awesome. You can write about this. You can write about, you can do a column on something. Encourage you to write, keep journals. And then get active in your community. Clara, where's Clara? Is a good example of someone who's active in the community. She saw a teacher she loved, heard about Read to Achieve, heard that you go online. Maybe mom and dad helped her get online, figure out how to fill it out, and you filled out the thing, and lo and behold, your teacher's picked. That's like community activism right there. That's someone who saw something, got active in the community, and made a difference. And now the news is at your school, and the snowball effect, you're all going to be on the news. How cool is that? You can make a huge difference in your communities. One more, little boy, orange sweatshirt, glasses.
Have you ever interviewed one of those famous singers?
I've interviewed singers before. Famous? Yeah. It depends on, famous by a famous relative. I would encourage you to get to know singers in your city. There are so many talented musicians in Kansas City. Just because someone's on a reality show doesn't mean they're any cooler than you guys. It's cool, but it's not everything. I know that you guys are getting inundated with reality shows and famous people and blah, 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 blah. It's not, none of it's real. You guys are what's real. You guys should cultivate your own gardens. That's what my mom always says. Have your own garden. So, but yeah, we've interviewed some famous singers. But the ones I love are the ones in Kansas City. I love local ones.
And 4th grade, one of the opportunities that you guys will have next year as 5th graders is we do a Friday news show here at Sunflower.
Perfect.
Not quite as exciting as the news show for KCTV5, but it's pretty awesome. And you guys would have the opportunity next year to, we use a green screen, a teleprompter that Alexis was talking about.
Do you guys have a teleprompter here?
We use an iPad teleprompter app on it,
Okay.
but you have to be able to read fluently to do that. And so you guys will actually have the opportunity next year to be part of the Sunflower Friday News.
That's
Right,
remarkable.
So it's pretty
that you have that.
exciting.
That's cool.
It is pretty exciting, and they do a great job. Well, Sunflower, KCTV5, and KNEA, they have to get back to their real jobs. So we're going to this is their real job, but they have to get back so they can do some editing and everything and get ready for the news this afternoon. So let's tell Miss Alderson congratulations. What should we say to the whole crew that showed up to make this happen?
Thank you!
You are welcome. Thank you for having us. You guys are awesome. I can tell you're very bright. Very bright group of kids here.
I think we have some pretty amazing kiddos here.
Very good questions, you guys. Very good team.
So we'll let our guests leave first, and then we'll get all the 4th grade back to class. But thank you so much, KNEA, KCTV5, for being here. Thank you.